Texans back on the practice field. We got a lot to get into. We'll hear from DeMeco. We'll hear from C.J. Stroud. Playoff coverage of SNL brought to you by the greatness of TDECU. Your credit union, my credit union, C.J. Stroud's credit union, Cody Stoots' credit union, and he's got that fresh new Texans debit card, which when you purchase, you can get 15% off the Texans team shop. Membership required, insured by NCUA. Cody, show them the back.
I'm not showing on the back of my card, but you can get signed up, get your own card, and look at the back of it yourself. TDECU.org/Texans. You just need to be a resident of the state of Texas to sign up with our friends at TDECU.
Coming up in a second, Cody has one mistake, and it is that nobody's talking about that he believes the Texans should avoid. I have a somewhat of a concern when it comes to old Nick Caley, who we'll hear from tomorrow. But first, let's give you the practice observations. We were on the scene today, and I don't know that anything really stuck out as far as practice, but I will say this: there was no Kamari Lassiter, there was no Titus Howard, there was no DeMeco Ryans. You put up right here, and this is a Wednesday. I know Thursdays are typically, you're kind of picking it up, but since everything was pushed back, this was a Wednesday. But no Kamari Lassiter, did not practice, no Jawar Jordan, no Titus, and no Autry. I think everyone, I can promise you that Kamari Lassiter plays. I can promise you that Titus Howard plays. I believe DeMeco Autry will play. He's been getting this day off of practice. Jawar Jordan up in the air. That is leaning towards probably not, I would say.
Yeah, I would think no on Jawar Jordan. Yes on the other guys. And they typically don't let you talk if you're not going to play. And guess what? Kamari Lassiter, Titus Howard talking today.
Did he ever? Kamari Lassiter. He's wired up. He's ready to go.
Yeah,
always fun to hear what Kamari Lassiter has to say. He basically made it very clear. And I'll get into this tonight on the night stream. But he just basically made it clear. I didn't need rest. I want to make that very clear. I didn't need rest. So this notion that I needed rest, I didn't need it. So that's
I don't know that anybody was saying he needs it. It's like if he had to play
was.
Yeah, but needs it would be like if it was a playoff game, he'd have played.
Yeah, that's what I asked him. I asked him and he said yes.
Yeah, so
I asked him and he said yes.
We all understood the ramifications of the game where you didn't need to play Kamari Lassiter. So Kamari, nobody thinks you're a wuss, okay? In fact, you're probably one of the tougher guys on the team.
Yeah, he's built for this, and he's ready to go. So, yeah, Kamari Lassiter did not like sitting out. I asked him what he does when he sits out, and he said he has to have a football in his hand, and he has to be like around his guys. So he's
like throwing the football up to himself and when he's sitting down.
I think he's just like squeezing it like a stress ball. By the time Kamari Lassiter gets done with that football, you would think he was on the damn Nick Caserio, Tom Brady Patriots with how deflated that shit is by the time he gets done for the game. Deflategate these nuts. So, yeah, that's really what the ob is. But I will say this, and I kind of want to piggyback off this because as we're sitting at practice, a little bit of rain, by the way, nothing crazy, but we're sitting at practice and I'm looking around and I'm looking at the running backs and I asked myself this question, especially with Jawar Jordan, like what does the RB share look like? Because I just wonder, Nick Caley has done a good job of trusting rookies. Does he now suddenly trust Nick Chubb a little bit too much in the postseason because Nick Chubb has been there, done that? That's kind of what my question is. And I guess the overall question, we know Woody Marks is going to be RB1. What does the RB share look like? And for the sake of discussion, let's just pretend that Jawar Jordan is not going to play and that Nick Chubb is going to be active. What does this RB share look like?
If there were 20 carries, I think it'd be 18 to Woody. And you just go Woody as much as you can. I do believe Chubb's going to be in the game, but I think those will be maybe clear passing downs. They like him on the pass blocking, and maybe a run here or there. But this is a team that I can't imagine that they wanted to play Woody Marks and Jawar Jordan against the Colts and have that happen to Jawar Jordan. Like, if they could switch Jawar Jordan and Nick Chubb for injury status right now, they would. I feel that way. So I don't believe Chubb's going to get some sort of just, big share, big thing of carry because he hasn't been successful running the football for them.
How evil would that be if there was like an alternate universe where the coach could say like, player A tears his ACL, and it's like you can have like 3 injury switches a year. So you just pick the other running back and you can tear his ACL instead of the other player's ACL. If there's like a magic power like that, all of a sudden the NFL inherited like the genie from Aladdin, and like this guy has a punctured lung, but he's only a special teamer. So, but this guy has a.
I think Nick Chubb would do it. I think he would say, you know what, the young guy, he needs to play in this. I'll take the high ankle sprain.
The Pro Bowler has the punctured lung, and they're like, all right, well, we got to give it to the special teamer. So this is where
Nick Chubb would do it for the team. He'd be like, you know what? No. I have a high ankle sprain instead of Jawar Jordan. That's fine.
No, I don't think that would happen.
I don't think would. Big team player.
The other Rob, and I got the video of this as we were there. Jalen Reed is back. Now, it was kind of funny because the first stretch of guys walked out, and we were like, wait, is Reed out there? And it was like, no. And then there was a group of a few more, and he made his way out to the field. So there you go, 23 looks ready to go. So it makes sense with them putting our guy Kayvon Wallace down to the practice squad. Jalen Reed is out there. It's gonna be a test for him, man. Like I'm assuming he's your starting safety. That's a hell of a test for a young man going in and out of the lineup, missing a portion of camp, then coming back, then getting hurt, then going to the playoffs. Like it's gonna be a interesting observation to see how he performs.
Well, and if you were looking for, okay, where's the crack in this defense? It would be, to me, that safety spot next to Kalen Bullock. If you can't rely on that guy, you can't trust that guy, or that guy's making a mistake, it's going to make everything else look a lot worse. And we saw that happen in the game against Indianapolis. Kayvon Wallace got out of position. Alec Pierce is taking it 68 to the house. I mean, Calvin Austin could do that if Jalen Reed's out of position on Monday, but they seem to like Jalen Reed a lot. I like Jalen Reed a lot. I'm excited to see what he can do if they give him that nod. I expect it will be him and primarily him at that spot. And let's see what he can bring to the table. And I mean, he's less than a month from breaking the metal plate in his forearm, and he's back. So here we go.
There he goes. He will be back. Let's go to the chat here on SNL. Cody has a mistake the Texans must avoid. We'll get to that in a second. We'll also hear from DeMeco and C.J. Here live, presented by TDECU playoff coverage.
Swarm.
Nate Davis, 8669, says, I blame the offensive issues on Caserio more than Caley. Kept 90% of the same staff, and somehow offense looks 90% the same as last year.
Well, you know who decides who stays and who goes on the offensive staff in addition to the general manager? The new offensive coordinator. Nick Caley could have brought in all his own guys if he wanted to. He handpicked Cole Popovich. That's been a good job. Good job. But
run. You got to run when that plays.
But you don't think Nick Caley could have brought all his own guys? He certainly could have.
This is an interesting question. Does Brooks get a carry on Monday? 1 carry. Over under 0.5 carries for British Brooks on Monday.
I would say it's possible.
I'm going to take the over on the 0.5. It might be out of the 3-point stance, but I'm going to take the over.
Little fullback dive.
Hopefully not back-to-back at the 1, but yeah.
Little fullback dive. Yeah, I could see him getting a carry.
All right, we're gonna have to ban Tazewell. He's being racist.
Race car.
He says, "So glad they're wearing all whites." Sorry, buddy.
That's not.
Tazewell. Come on, Tazewell.
He's talking about the uniform.
Come on, Taze.
What should he have called them? The Liberties. I'm glad they're wearing the Liberties.
Sir Wag says, evening, gents. Can we see more Brooks than Chubb? I don't think that will happen, but maybe you'll see a little more Brooks than you've seen lately.
Over half a carry. Let's do it. All right,
let's see if we can get that. Logan Taylor says probably see some British Bulldog as RB3 rotation. So they're already acting like
if they had done it more during the season, sure.
It did look good. I will agree. It did look good. It just we didn't see it.
It just feels to me like one of those things that occurred in a. This is not a situation like this is not a normal game situation. It's our backups are in, some of their backups are in, and it happened. So it's like preseason on steroids, kind of. So if it happened more during the season, I'd say yes. I just don't know that they feel that way about British Brooks.
Yeah, I don't know what they feel about British Brooks. Like one game he's getting like fullback dives in crucial situations, back-to-back plays. Then he's not getting carries. Then all of a sudden he's getting carries. He's doing his thing. I don't know. They like him, but I think they just look at him as like kind of a special teamer. And I think Nick Chubb's kind of in the way.
Why is Trill uncomfortable with the Texans' love?
My bad. I actually clicked that. I guess he just likes the us against the world. Here's my thing though. Like news should be good. The Texans have been the most mediocre display of a football organization that we've seen in a long time. They've been very, very mediocre. They've never been to a conference championship game. During that stretch, every team in the division has been to a conference championship game. So it shouldn't make you feel uncomfortable. You know, we're not talking about the Astros. We're not talking about the Astros who've kind of rallied around each other before when everyone's against them and whatever. Yeah. But this news should feel good. Maybe uncomfortable is a good thing. Maybe we're assuming that uncomfortable is a bad thing. Sometimes it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, if you stay comfortable too long, it's bad for you.
It's a fact. It's a fact. You know what else is a fact? We'll be at Spanky's this Friday. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Fresh sauce, fresh dough. You already know. Out there, Spanky's Sharpstown. It's going to be a fun one. John McClain's going to join us. I anticipate a lot of people will probably try to have to pack the back in a little bit more. I think we can do that if we put our minds to it. It's going to be a fun time to be had. And by the way, football heaven's starting too. We're going to get a playoff game today, a playoff game tomorrow, and then 3 straight days of NFL playoffs. It is going to be a magical time to be a football fan.
Fantastic way to start it off tonight, and you can get it really started tomorrow. Get your weekend started with us at Spanky's.
All right, Cody. Now, speaking of food, I'm going to ask you this. Do you want to tell the people what you did today?
Do you want to tell the people what you did to me?
Do you want to tell the people what you did today? Cody, I'm giving you an opportunity to confess.
Watch this. These are my confessions.
Go ahead. Tell the people what you did today or what you tried to do. Tell the people.
You have the video that you're just going to throw it at me? You're just going to spring it on me? If I don't?
It's on the phone. I'll just let you tell the truth and let the people know what you did today.
The Texans ordered lunch for us. They got kava.
Yes, they did. Kava. Yes, they did.
Kava has a fantastic sauce that is a dill yogurt sauce.
Yes, they do.
It's very good. After everybody had their kava and we were getting ready to leave, I was like, well, you know, there's a little dill yogurt sauce left over. Maybe I just snagged there was only that much in there.
A little.
It was only that much in there.
Okay.
And I thought I'd just take the squirt bottle home, and then the feds pulled up with their cameras and wanted to record me, and so I just left it.
So you were just trying to take a little sauce. It wasn't like a full bottle or anything.
It was not a full bottle. I was trying to take the remaining sauce of the dill yogurt sauce that I believe would have just been thrown in the trash. I was trying to take it home.
Okay. And why didn't you keep doing it though?
Because the feds showed up and started filming me like I was some criminal stealing the Declaration of Independence.
Let me see. Yeah, that's about accurate. Look at it. Look at this guy though. Like, look at this. The guy even puts it back. Oh, you can't see it. Darn it. I know that's a heartbreaker for you.
Yeah. So someone started filming me, so I just put it back. I didn't need it that bad. And then of course it comes up anyway. Yeah. That's what, the Fat Bureau of Investigation, the FBI.
The Fat Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, that's what you are. You are. There's a fat person trying to have some fucking fun. You're there to shut it down.
The little sauce is kind of
Dude, the sauce bottle looked fuller than it was.
full bottle, by the way. Like what
it wasn't a full bottle.
Full but it was a full size bottle.
Yeah, there was of course it was a full size bottle.
Yeah, full size.
Yeah.
Full size bottle.
I wanted to bring it home. I like that sauce.
I get it. I mean, look, I'm not judging. I just thought you would have stuck to it though. I thought you would have stuck to it. Like, let's see.
No, Jesus.
Look at this. Now you put it back. Look at that sauce.
Why were you going to take?
Look at that bottle. And then I went into pure investigative mode. I went into Chris Hansen mode right here, as I caught you in the act. Look at that bottle right there. Little sauce. It's to the top. That's a clear bottle.
No, that's not. The sauce goes up the side of the bottle and remains at the top of the bottle. It's not. It wasn't full. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how. It wasn't full. How can it be full when people have been using it?
Okay. And then let's see how he acts.
Why were you going to take that? Sir, do you not have access to an HEB? Sir.
Landry's sitting there smacking that gum.
Excuse me. Landry Locker, Investigative News. What were you just doing with that bottle? Sir. Sir.
You're going to need to talk to my lawyer. And I'm going to need to talk to your lawyer about harassment.
On the chat, we'll hear from DeMeco and C.J. in a sec.
Swarm.
Hackasack says Landry is the pronounced
Ziki police.
Is that's the kind of sauce that is?
I mean, it's not that far from what the Ziki sauce actually is. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay. Rich boy was on it yesterday. I told Cody what you said yesterday. I told him about your behavior last night on the live stream, my friend. But Rich Boy says, Landry, what's the fat phonic origin story? Were you bullied by a fat kid?
I think you said fat phobic.
Fat phobic. You said phonic, but yeah, fat phobic. I'm not fat phobic at all. I just give Cody a hard time for being full size. I'd never been bullied by a fat kid. My best friend was fat. What are you talking about? I have fat friends. My best friend was and is fat. Okay.
I have fat friends. I can't hate fat people. I have fat friends.
Let's hear from DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco, by the way, I thought DeMeco Ryans was in money quote mode today. That dude dropped some bars today, and he is 100% ready to go. Let's hear DeMeco talking about the weather and being. Let's just hear him on the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers and all that type of stuff. Aaron Rodgers.
He's one of the best quarterbacks that play this game, and he's that way for a reason. He's a very smart guy. He does a really good job of, taking a couple plays to the line of scrimmage and trying to get them into the most advantageous play when he sees the defense and he sees, what he's facing, and he sees a weakness of where he can get the ball out quick. That's where he's going to go with the football. So for us, it's not so much of a chess match. For us defensively, we know he's going to figure out what you're doing, how you're disguising, all those things. It's going to be about us collectively as a team, not just about Aaron Rodgers. It's our defense versus their offense. They have a ton of playmakers who Aaron gets the ball to that do a really great job in space of making guys miss. So we have to do a great job of tackling whoever gets the football.
This is my favorite thing about Cody right now. He's in hardo mode, man. I thought DeMeco dropped some bangers today. Cody thought they sucked. He wants to focus on the O-line, the trenches, all that. Cody's in like preview mode right now. I think all these like non-previews. I thought when DeMeco Ryans went up there and said, our team's ready to go anytime, anywhere, any place. I thought it was a good quote. Cody, while we're playing that quote, says that was corny shit. And he wants to talk about the 3-tech for the Steelers. I respect this. I'm not giving you a hard time. I respect this.
I didn't cut any of the. Well, I thought that like the corny quotes, the "we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime." Okay, well, I mean, 8 weeks ago was we play who's on the schedule, so it's like, the stuff about like, oh, do you have to get ready for the field? Like, I don't give a damn about that. Yeah, of course they get ready for the field. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
But don't you think like that mindset? And this is the money quote showdown here with myself and Stoots. I think sometimes like the romanticism stuff with DeMeco is a little bit of an eye roll. And I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Like iron sharpens iron. Tell us about iron sharpening iron. Talk about but I think in this instance, I think that's kind of the mindset that this team needs to have. I think they need to be a nasty ass football team. Just gross. We're ready to fight you anywhere, anytime, any place. And I think the fact that DeMeco Ryans is sticking his chest out and saying it, I think it's symbolic of the type of coach, the type of mindset you need to be a hard ass defense and go into this atmosphere. Look at you just crapping on it.
Yeah, he also said, "Oh, this is going to be an old school physical football game." How about not? How about you go out there and score a bunch of fucking points? How about you score some touchdowns instead of the kicker setting the damn record for most field goals in a season? How about you score touchdowns? How about you don't rely on the kicker? Okay. How about it's not all about the defense? How about the offense has a day for once? Okay.
Yeah.
Old school football. How about new school football?
Yeah, I just don't know if they're built like that, man. But I get what you're saying. You shouldn't strive.
I'm not praising this.
You shouldn't strive to play old school football against like a Steelers. You're talking me into this. I feel like we've kind of switched roles here.
They should go in there. They should kick the Steelers' heads in on defense, and that should have the offense in a position to succeed and actually put some freaking points on the scoreboard.
Okay. I like your mindset. I like your mindset a lot. CJ Stroud. I think this is an interesting one with CJ Stroud because where he is in the quarterback rankings, it's not as high as you probably thought it would be a couple of years ago. It's kind of a different role. But CJ does insist that he's ready for the playoffs. Let's hear from CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think, the experience that I've been able to gain in the last 2 years have been, very, important and, helpful. But, this is a new year, and I never played, on the road in a wild card game. So, that's a new experience in that. But, I kind of have a good idea on how some of these games go, and that's you don't have an idea. So it can go any way, and this is a good team we're playing against. So just trying to be prepared in my preparation as much as I can.
Okay.
They're trying like hell to make this seem like it's just another football game.
I thought DeMeco actually kind of embraced that it's not just another football game. It's not just another football game now.
Yeah, well, he did Aaron Rodgers is good, and then he finished it with the typical, but it's about our defense. It's about us doing what we do. And to an extent, yeah, I guess it is. But, you could say Aaron Rodgers is still doing what Aaron Rodgers does. And still, we can understand it's your defense that gets this thing done.
All right, let's hear C.J. Stroud talking about Nick Caley. Nick Caley, I don't feel like too many people love what Nick Caley does.
Nick.
I'll be honest. Anytime I hear C.J. Stroud praise Nick Caley, I just think about, okay, well, this is what he didn't like about Bobby Slowick. That's kind of how I listen to these types of things, and it's like, okay, this is what it is. But a lot of people not sold on Nick Caley, but C.J. Stroud is, and let's see if C.J. Stroud can sell you people. And I do mean you people on Nick Caley.
His ability to, block out the noise and continue to go forward. I think, everybody in this day and age wants a microwave. They want just throw something in a microwave, let it heat up fast, and be a new product. And that's none of us. So, football is an oven type of sport or whatever you use, a crock pot, whatever. whatever any of y'all use. Yeah, whatever. So, I mean, I think, this team, and we try to do our best to just block out the noise, and just stay, in our brotherhood and lean on one another. I thought he's done a great job of, leaning on us, asking us what we like, even if it didn't work, like not running away from asking guys, what they like, and putting guys in position to, do what we need to do best. So, we're still working. We're still, got ways to go, but I'm just proud of that guy, man. I think he's done a heck of a job of calling it, of, being honest, and really one thing I respect about Kel is like he doesn't, point fingers. And if he does, it's in the right way. It's not like blame game. It's like, hey, you can be better here because I know you can. So he's uplifting, and I have a lot of love for that guy. But he's done a heck of a job for us this year.
Interesting.
That did not sound like a quarterback that's going to go put the knife in the OC's back at the end of the playoff run.
That also didn't really sound like a random example. Like, yeah. I didn't sound like that sounded like a quite specific example. And I don't even know whether it's a good thing or bad thing to critique how someone, but yeah, that did not sound like I'm going to praise him and it has nothing to do with anyone else type of presentation from the QB.
It sounded to me like Nick Caley coaches not only CJ, but everybody pretty dang hard. Like, yeah, he's on it. He's when he's make mistakes, he's critical, but he's not critical like in a mean or a bad way. It's like, okay.
So I brought up the stats about CJ Stroud in the running and using the legs, 42 yards in both playoff games last year. Very well done. Very well done at the start of the season. 20 or more yards in 6 of 8 to start the season, including the game in which he left. 20 yards combined, though, since he's come back from the concussion. And you wonder, is there a fear? And most importantly, going back to his final college football game against Georgia, where he used his legs a lot more than he did in the regular season. And last season, when he used his legs in the playoffs, is it important to do that? And I asked him about that. And then I just asked him, did you maybe have to think about using your legs after having the concussion? Here's the back and forth with CJ Stroud earlier today on SNL, presented by TDECU.
In big games, you've used your legs. Last year you had, I think, 42 yards in both playoff games. Do you think that the need or willingness to use the legs increases in playoff games?
I don't know. I just try to play as fast as I can. I think every game I try to use my legs if I need to, but sometimes it doesn't present. I've been getting spied lately, so that's kind of cool. I've never got spied in my career, probably in a long time, but so whatever the play presents. But yeah, I think whatever way you got to get the job done, get it done.
From the human element of that, coming back after the injury that you had, was there any challenge of I gotta be selective when to use my legs?
No, I'm not. I don't live in fear. At least I try not to. So. I think this game, if you think about getting hurt, you think about something happening, is when it usually happens. So I try my best to just play fast and just, protect myself as well, though.
All right. There you go.
CJ, I don't live in fear, Stroud.
What was that impression?
It wasn't an impression.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway. But yeah, over under right now. I looked up do you know what the over under is on Sleeper? Or the higher low on Sleeper? Higher lower of rushing yards for CJ Stroud on Sleeper?
It's got to be like 6.5.
Higher.
7.5.
Higher.
11.5.
12.5.
I'll take the over.
So you'll take the over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you think he uses the legs?
Yeah, that's just one nice rush.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I would take it. I don't know that he's going to have to. I think if you keep your head up, and that's the one thing that CJ Stroud does really well, and that's kind of one of the things that Pittsburgh struggles to do. I think wide receivers can get open if you keep your head up when you roll out against Pittsburgh. I don't even think that's a recency bias. I think that's kind of been a little bit of the thing that one of the issues with their defense. So I do think CJ keeps his head up, and Pittsburgh's been known to lose some guys, most recently against the Ravens. So I'll take lower than on the 12.5.
So you think he won't need to run because guys will be open? That's certainly a possibility.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Certainly a possibility. I could see where this Pittsburgh team, the way that they got out of position a few times, leave a lane. And it's one thing to not want to run against the Cardinals or the Raiders. It's another thing. Like, it's the playoffs. Get it done any means necessary, especially with the type of offense that they play, where it's just, hey, they need everything, and points are going to be at a premium in this one.
Yeah, they're going to be a premium. The over-under is 38.
Yeah.
38 points. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. That's not that's not high at all. Of course, though, it's going to come down to the offensive line. DeMeco Ryans was asked about the O-line, and this is what DeMeco Ryans had to say about the Texans O-line.
Our offensive line has done a good job. I feel like our group has improved throughout the year. The main thing, when you look at it, we've done a really great job of protecting our quarterback. And that was the main emphasis coming into this year. Is can we upgrade in that area of protecting our quarterback better, keeping him off the ground, and we've done that.
And they've done that in a variety of ways too. It's, they improved the players in the room for the offensive line from that standpoint, but getting the ball out fast has been an element of keeping Stroud upright and protecting him. That's been a part of, a few games in a row where they haven't allowed a sack to C.J. Stroud, and that's been more prevalent, I feel like, post-concussion than pre-concussion, about the heavy emphasis on getting the ball out to sort of mitigate some of the pressure. And they still have some rough moments, but I don't think the KC game and the Chargers game and even some of the Raiders stuff, it didn't feel like it was five guys that were the issue. It felt like it was the offense as a whole that was an issue in some of that. Whereas I feel like a lot of that early season stuff where they were kind of was more about the five guys and trying to figure out who was worth putting on the field and who was worth keeping out there and things like that.
See, the thing for me, like you dropped a bar at the start of this show and you said it's not good to be comfortable for too long, like too comfortable. I kind of feel like there's an unhealthy amount of comfort with this offensive line. I still don't think they're good. I think the strengths of the team are good enough to where they've been able to overcome it, but it does feel, and I don't know if a poor offensive line performance can just completely eliminate any chance at winning a game in Pittsburgh. But it does feel like there's a little bit too much comfort with this offensive line for my liking at this point, based on what they are, based on what we thought they were, and based on really, we didn't feel great about them after Kansas City. And really all that's changed since then was they played 3 bunnies at NRG, and then they played the Chargers, and I guess they handled that well. They didn't get sacked, but you could definitely, it might not have been sacks, but the Chargers were making CJ uncomfortable and he was having to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, see, that's the element of
not to anyone either, not to anyone, basically throwing it away.
That's the element of some of this get rid of the ball fast is some of it has been there. Well, there wasn't a sack. Well, just because there wasn't a sack doesn't mean it was a successful protection. You can still allow pressure and the quarterback can get rid of the football and get rid of the football either too quick or have to throw to a guy behind the sticks, which they've done a handful of times in the post-concussion CJ run where it's like, oh, he just got rid of it. And it's like, okay, great. He got rid of it and they got 4 yards. They need 7. Like, he did that in the Chargers game. Actually, the play that I'm thinking about, he didn't even complete the pass. He threw it at Christian Kirk's feet. And even if he had completed it, they were still 4 yards short of the first down. And it's like he some of that is he should have used the legs a little more to extend it, or some of it is they've had the protection and he's made the decision too quick because there has been some pressure earlier in the game. Stroud himself has said that it's different times it's gotten to him. So that's something that we have to watch for. And look, if Tomlin's not getting heat with the regular pass rushers, he'll start sending more people. And that's when the Texans have had a little bit of issue on the offensive line.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was listening to the Check the Mic, which is really like the only national perspective that I listen to, because I mean they just follow the league. Like, it's actually kind of uncanny how much they follow the league. And when you hear them talk about the Texans, it's like, okay, they actually are watching the games. But they brought up a couple of interesting things, interesting dynamics about the Texans on the other side of the ball, like, and this is a pressure thing where it kind of goes to like how misleading pressure, all these pressure stats can be. So the Texans, like quick pressures, they're actually not great. Like the Denver Broncos actually have like, I think 25 more quick pressures than the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the DNs that the Texans have, they have like 25 more quick pressures. And the Texans against like quarterbacks that get rid of the ball quick, they're actually like, if you look at like the equivalent of DVOA when it comes to their defense, their yards, the yards per play and everything, they're 13th when quarterbacks get the ball out of their hands quickly. 13th in the league on defense in that. So the talk about pressures, I feel like has gotten weird. I don't know. I don't think it's like as weird as like when PFF first came out and PFF stats were kind of the gospel for like a quick stretch. And then all of a sudden people kind of caught on and they said, okay, this isn't necessarily like pressure stats to me are really, really misleading.
Yeah. Cause
in both areas.
Well, yeah. And you can qualify pressure a lot of different ways too. Like,
well, I mean, the coaching staff of the best defense in the league has told us before that sacks are overrated.
Yeah, I mean, you can say
they've told us that themselves. I said it, but they've said it.
You can say sacks are overrated, but
I don't believe it, but they've said it.
It's worth noting the Texans, from a total quarterback pressure percentage, they finished below league average,
which is crazy, right?
I think that's pretty wild. Now they finished in the top 10 for sacks. They finished 7th in sacks, right behind Pittsburgh and tied with the Rams and the Seahawks. But for a pressure percentage, they finished 18th. Our quarterback pressure, total quarterback pressures, they finished 18th.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah. Weird. The thing about Aaron Rodgers is there's guys that get rid of the ball quick and they make a big play with the getting rid of the ball quick. Sometimes Aaron Rodgers is going to get rid of the ball quick just to get rid of the ball quick. I mean, he got hit a bunch of times this year and got sacked quite a bit. He probably saved himself 3 times that many hits and sacks by just getting rid of the ball either to someone in the flat or a short pass that is just a yard or two than just taking the hit. So this is a different type of quarterback from a get rid of it fast perspective than some of the other guys. Like, he's going to get rid of it and you may not sack him, but he's not going to do a lot with the play.
Yeah, I would agree. Shout out to TDECU for sponsoring playoff coverage, SNL playoff coverage, locker room playoff coverage, Cody Stoots playoff coverage presented by the greatness of TDECU, your credit union, my credit union, Cody's debit card.
Yeah, got it right here. Got it right here for the folks. You can get in to 15 greater Houston area locations with TDECU and get that Texans debit card. Less than 20 minutes to get signed up. Membership's required. They're insured by the NCUA and they're a credit union. They can do more for you than typical places that you've put your money. All the different checking account options, the saving account options, the various perks and benefits of the debit card, including that 15% off of the online team store, the Houston Texans. It's all there with our friends at TDECU. You can learn all about it. TDECU.org/Texans. You can even start that process to become a member at TDECU right there online. All you have to do is be a resident in the state of Texas. Membership's required, insured by the NCUA.
Swarm.
A1 says drop Kirk for D-Hop. Good Lord. We're still doing this? How long are we doing this D-Hop thing?
I'm not doing the D-Hop thing anymore.
How long are we doing the D-Hop thing?
I'm not doing the D-Hop thing anymore.
Yeah, the D-Hop. Yeah, let I'd rather have. I'll say this: I'd rather have Christian Kirk than D-Hop.
I'd rather have
Jared Wayne than D-Hop at this point.
Well, that's a little crazy.
That's me. It's my own personal choice.
Yeah. Well, you're wide receiver, your choice, but that's a bad choice.
Yeah, I moved on. I've moved on from that. The Man Beast 25 says my personal take. Of course, it's your personal take, my friend. You don't have to preface that. It's like when someone says, "In my opinion," yeah, obviously, sir. I'm giving you a hard time, Man Beast. My personal take is that the Steelers are to the Texans what the Texans were to the Chiefs last year from a talent perspective. This one's going to make me think.
Steelers are to the Texans what the Texans were to the Chiefs last year.
Like, without getting too literal, Yeah, I mean, I would say that there's a talent gap. I would say without getting too literal, yes. I will say the Steelers, though, definitely have a lot more weapons than the Texans did heading into the playoffs with like as far as balance.
Yeah, I mean, like Freiermuth's playing decent.
Receiving options.
Yeah, like Freiermuth's playing better football now than Schultz was a year ago. They've got two backs that they use, and they throw it to them. The Texans had Joe Mixon, but he was kind of banged up there at the end, and they weren't throwing him the football. Had Nico, he's better than DK, but the rest of the wide receiver room, not much to get excited about.
What will last longer? We need to bring back Kubiak or as an advisor, or D-Hop is a free agent. They should sign him. I honestly think D-Hop might be 80 and they'll say, hey, you should bring him back.
The Kubiak advisor thing will never die. Never.
John McClain might mention it tomorrow at Spanky's.
I think they should call Gary Kubiak and see what he thought about Nick Caley's performance before they make any decisions on offensive coordinator.
Gary Kubiak is 2 hours down the street. He lives at a ranch with his wife, Rhonda, and he still loves football. All right, so Cody, you said that there is one mistake that the Texans need to avoid, and you have said this is a nobody's talking about. So you have said this is an NTA. What is the one big mistake the Texans need to avoid?
This team cannot operate with the automatic field goal mindset that they have operated with for half a season. They can't do this. If they're getting close to field goal range, get a few more yards. Do not sit there and give the Steelers opportunities after a missed Kaimi field goal. This is a different surface. It's a tough kicking stadium. You just watched two guys absolutely blow it in that stadium on two huge kicks. Don't leave this up to the kicker. Don't rely on the kicker. And if you have to rely on him, get him 10 yards closer than you think he needs to get.
Yeah, it's not the same that it's not the we joke about bad weather Kaimi all the time, and this is also on grass. Like this is not close to the same thing that they typically have had success in.
We have seen them time and time and time again call plays with the knowledge that they have a kicker that can make a big kick and can be consistent. Don't call plays that way. Don't operate that way.
I would agree.
And again, I think the other element of this is not that it's a miss and you don't get points on the board. You can't give the Steelers, the Steelers are not driving the field 75 yards and scoring a touchdown on you, probably at all without a big play. But they're not doing it on a consistent basis. You can't give them a short field and an opportunity to put points on the board. So the reliance on Kaimi needs to be dialed down, and the approach and the way they call plays, he's got to get a lot closer than they were thinking.
Sir Wags on the chat says, what's the coverage we're going to see with DK Metcalf? Well, we'll talk about that. First, though, let's hear from the head coach. The head coach was asked about DK Metcalf. Here's what DeMeco had to say about him.
And Metcalf gives them, their full offense where, he lines up as an outside receiver. He does a, outstanding job of just playing physical. That's the one thing that sticks out for me with him. He's a physical receiver. Whether he's running the go ball, slants, whatever it looks like, he plays physical. So we have to challenge him. We have to definitely step up to the challenge there. And we have to play physical as well versus him. It's going to be a tough challenge. He's done a great job his entire career of making big plays, down the field. And I know they're excited to get him back because he's such a huge part of their offense. And Aaron will definitely look to go to him, a ton. So we have our hands full when it comes to just challenging him and trying to make a play when the ball is up.
I think they're going to take a shot early. I think they're going to take a shot.
They should.
I think they will. They've had games where they've done that, where they immediately do. I think there's kind of a sentimental thing where the team doesn't kind of feels for him. You saw Tomlin yesterday say, I'm tired of him apologizing. It's time to play. We know how Aaron Rodgers is and how comfortable they are together. They worked out in the offseason. He'll want to welcome him back. I think we see an early and maybe maybe not as much as Denver did, like with the deep ball, like taking shot after shot after shot after shot. I don't know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do that, but I do think they take an early deep shot with DK Metcalf relatively early, like first drive, maybe first play.
If they're gonna go with that, then they better have the protection that day, because it takes Aaron Rodgers a while to kind of dial that thing up. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Brother. Yeah, I've seen a lot of shortcomings from Aaron Rodgers. Maybe even his mind's not as good as it once was, and his legs damn sure aren't. But that fling, that as soon as he can still fling that bitch. He's got the Jeff George in him where he can just fling it no matter what. He ain't Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
that thing's still pretty. That's still a dart.
It takes a minute to get it down there, so they better have it protected.
Yeah, right. He can still fling. It's still such a pretty, like, it's, there were some times where I like to watch quarterbacks like warm up, and there's like must watch warm up. I remember my dad taking me to look at Jeff George. That guy throws the best pass. And it's like, okay, like there are a few guys where when you watch them warm up, it's just like, dude, this is crazy. All the NFL quarterbacks are nice, but some of them, it just looks different. Just the way that it just, like Jay Cutler was like that too.
Just zipping it.
Just zip. Just absolute insanity.
Yeah, he ain't prime Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm sure he can still get one down there, but it ain't going to be as far as he used to be able to get it.
All right, so we talk about the offensive line a lot. This is going to be an interesting challenge for Aireontae Ersery, one that perhaps is not getting enough attention. He's never, ever played a playoff game. It's going to be a hostile environment, and this is going to be probably the best edge duo that he faces in the playoffs. Assuming, like, if TJ Watt's healthy, this is probably the best edge duo he's going to go against, right? Jacksonville's playing well, but I don't think they're this.
I'll take these guys over Jacksonville.
Yeah, if TJ's healthy, if
TJ's healthy. Yeah.
It's fair, right?
Yeah.
Let's hear Aireontae Ersery talking about his mindset and how he's feeling heading into this big challenge.
Every day is something, we just trying to continue to be our best, continue to be a pro. We're a pro, so just try to go out there, whatever Cole Popovich present for us and really attack it with good intentions.
Their rush, there's about three guys, and maybe more, that get after the quarterback a lot. There's Watt, there's Herbig, there's Highsmith. What do you see from collectively their pass rush?
Yeah, I think 95 is a really good player. Hayward, am I saying that right? Hayward, he's a great player. Been in the league for 15 years. This year he looks the best he's ever looked. And that's just a credit to him. You got 90 out there. TJ Watt, another great player, 5'1". They all just play, pretty much they play good together. So we just got to play good together.
So you guys have done such a nice job protecting CJ. I think 23 sacks, which is down significantly from last year. Mm-hmm. How would you describe your relationship with him, and how does that relationship make you want to protect him and keep him upright?
Yeah, man. I feel like as an O-line, man, we just take pride in protecting CJ. We don't really talk about the sacks. We really just talk about winning. Like, we just want to win. Like, we can talk about that at a later day, but we just all just focus on 1-1-0 right now.
We talked a lot about the cold. This is kind of right at your wheelhouse, right? The colder, the better.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, man. We just put the ball down. We can go play.
Your growth individually, how do you feel like you've come as far as since they drafted you to where you're at now?
Yeah, man. I feel like I learned a lot over these last 6-7 months. Just absorbing things from the older guys, taking the coaching, spending extra time with my body. Really just trying to figure out my routine, what works out for me. I feel like, I ain't perfect, but I'm still working towards to be perfect, find my own routine. So
CJ was talking about Coach Popovich. What has he meant to you?
Yeah, he meant a lot to the whole line, man. He brings a different energy, a different attitude. And our guys, we like him, we love him, we just love his mentality and, how it rubs off on everybody in the room.
You talk about how much you've learned. What have your teammates shared with you as far as, the playoffs, how different it's going to be?
Everything's turned up a notch. You know, it's when to go, you know, go home. So just got to go out there, you know, knowing that we got to go out there and bring it.
What do you think about this opportunity, man? I mean, you poured yourself into being an NFL player, and now you're part of a really good football team that's in the playoffs. I'm sure you've dreamed of all this. What do you think about the opportunity that you guys have here in Pittsburgh, man?
If I'm going to be honest, I never really thought about that, but I don't know, man. I feel like we all really came a long way, and we all clicking at the right time.
All right, there you go. That's Aireontae Ersery. Can he protect Stroud? That's going to be a big test. I talked about the 5 pups yesterday. The 5 pups going to Pittsburgh. Woody Marks, Aireontae Ersery, the wide receiver duo of Higgins and Knoll, and then Jalen Reed. So you're relying on some young bucks. And oh, by the way, Nick Caley, he's a rookie too, rookie OC. So you always wonder how rookies are going to handle stuff. There's really a 6-piece there of the rookies. By the way, you heard the alpha in that scrum.
Hey, bro, Alpha Aaron here.
I got to talk about today's alpha, presented by no one. Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you. Playoff coverage presented, though, by TDECU, the greatness of TDECU. Get that fresh Texans debit card.
Where's the? I can't. What did the alpha do this time?
Aaron Wilson today came up to me and he asked if he's like, yeah, I think Kamari Lassiter's going to play. And I was like, yeah, he just said it. He just did a scrum. He's like, oh, he did a scrum, bro. I'm like, yeah, he did a scrum. I was like, you want me to send it to you so you have it? Like, he's like, yeah, man. So then I look over there and the dude's doing one of his POVs after this, like with Kamari Lassiter right there. You see Aaron doing his thing. And here's the best part about it. This is the alpha move right here. That's not an alpha move. He just took advantage of his opportunity. This is the alpha move. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No, I don't.
I think the people are going to love this. And I don't know if you're going to be surprised or not. Aaron Wilson's email is an AOL address.
Of course it is.
Hey, bro, Alpha Aaron here.
Of course it is.
I said, what email do I send this to? And he said the email, and it was at AOL.com. And I was like, dude, that's the alpha right there.
Yeah, of course it's AOL. Of course it's AOL.
C.J. Stroud, he was asked about the Steelers' defense. This is what he had to say about that defense that we talk. So we have a lot of good things to say about.
They rush, together. They're going to push the pocket and, burn the edge. And, I think they do a great job even, with their effort. They're getting chips and things like that the whole game, and they're still, going very hard. So I have a lot of respect for, Highsmith and Watt and, their interior guys. I think their whole D-line is the heartbeat of their team. And then you got Patrick Queen, who's a dog and been a great player in this league for a long time. And then Jalen, leading the guys in the back end. I think, overall they've done a really good job, and they make it hard, and they play really hard. So it's going to be a challenge, and I think but up front, I'm very, very respectful. I mean, I respect him to a high standard, and just how Mike Tomlin coaches those guys as well.
Yeah, it's a good defense. This is kind of the style that they want. I noticed something else today, Cody, as we were there. I think me and DeMeco Ryans might have the same taste.
Okay.
I think we might have the same taste in running back because I like Jalen Warren, man. I don't feel like Jalen Warren gets enough praise. And you can tell DeMeco doesn't keep his poker face sometimes when he really respects a player. Like, I think if this guy were a free agent, I think DeMeco Ryans might actually force an overpay. If Kenneth Walker from the Seahawks were a free agent, I think DeMeco Ryans would perhaps want to get in that sweepstakes. I think he likes him. A lot of times it's D lineman, but I think he kind of thinks Jalen Warren's a little bit underrated myself.
Well, God, I don't think he's talked about any running back room as much as he talked about the Steelers running back room and how much he liked them. And well, here's the head coach gushing over the Steelers running backs.
When you first pop on the film watching the Steelers, the thing that jumps out the most, is their running back position. They have two guys, in Warren who's, I mean, you watch him run the football, it's really impressive to see a young guy run the ball the way he runs the ball. He's small guy, but he's tough. He's physical, runs it really well. And Gainwell, another receiver that steps in, and he's done a really great job as well running the football. But the thing where they make a lot of plays is, both backs, whichever guy's in, what they do with the ball in their hand once the ball is out. Aaron has done a great job of not making bad plays. He gets the ball to his check down very quickly, and those guys, make some productive plays off of catching the ball, even behind the line of scrimmage. They make a lot of guys miss tackles. They both have really good contact balance. They have the speed, the toughness, the physicality to really gain yards, after the catch, and they're top in the league at receiving yards after the catch. So it'll be a tough challenge to get these guys on the ground. It's going to take everybody from our D-line coming out of the stack, our second-level guys really securing the tackles as best we can.
He likes these guys, man. I like these backs too. They can catch the ball too. That's the other thing that I like about these guys. But he seems to have a lot of respect for Warren. Warren's underrated. I don't think they use him between the tackles enough. I think sometimes, but that's been one of Arthur Smith's. By the way, Arthur Smith, Titans requested an interview with Arthur Smith.
Yeah, that's
a limousine.
Of course they did.
Is that a limousine sin for you?
Yeah, at the very least, I'll buy the champagne for the ride over.
Yeah, he Arthur Smith. I don't know that I would want him to be the head coach of my ball club, but
that would not scare me if he ended up in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice, but. Yeah, I like these backs, especially with what they do in the pass game, and it feels like DeMeco has a little bit of respect for him too.
I don't know that there's another avenue to success for Pittsburgh if they can't run the football. They're not gonna short pass the Texans to death. They may hit an explosive here or there, but at some point they're gonna have to run, and I don't believe in their ability to consistently run the football and win this game. I don't believe that if they can't consistently run the football, they can even come close to winning this game.
Well, the Texans also have been just swallowing up. There was the play to Genty, but as far as like traditional dump offs to running backs, they've just been
throwing it to Omarion Hampton was a total waste of a down for the Chargers a few weeks ago.
Yes, that was a give up. That was like a Nick Chubb run on first down.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, same thing. So 1, 2, 3, Chubb stuff. Anything else from CJ Stroud? He was asked, you knew this was coming. Is playoff football any different than regular football?
I mean, yes and no. I think when the ball snapped, you just locked in, but I think the added extra cameras, extra eyes and stuff, you just know there's a little more eyes on you, but I'm excited. I've played in some big games in my career, and I'm just every next one is a bigger one. So I just want to be able to handle this moment as best as I can and be present, and enjoy it.
There you go.
That's that.
Yeah.
Couple more eyeballs, same old same.
All right, we'll get out of here on this. Tomorrow, return to practice. We'll be there. We're trying to set up an interview. We don't want to get the guy cut. Although Kayvon's still out there practicing, but I think he's just coming back no matter what. But I don't want to get anyone cut.
He's still on the team,
so we'll figure that out. But is there any extra pressure on Nick Caley with Mike McDaniel being fired by the Dolphins?
A little bit, don't you think? A little bit. They sort of set the standard. If the offense isn't up to snuff in the playoffs and they don't go where they want to go, they make a change. Here's what I would say. And I
think Nick Caley's safe no matter what.
You think Nick Caley's safe no matter what?
No matter what happens, I think Nick Caley is safe.
I do too. I feel that way about
right. I'm just saying that's what it is.
I feel that way about 95%. Here's what I would say. If DeMeco Ryans really, really wanted Mike McDaniel, this is kind of his last crack at it. Because McDaniel, if he doesn't sit out a year, which I think is very much in the realm of possibility for McDaniel, but if McDaniel doesn't sit out a year, he's probably getting hired somewhere. And I don't think he's going to do poor enough at that next place to get fired, and then you'd want him to do the OC at the end of next year. And if he does well, you can't make a sideways move. He'll get another head coach opportunity probably. So this is kind of your last crack at Mike McDaniel if you really want Mike McDaniel to be your OC.
Yeah, I don't know that DeMeco wants that.
I think he would, if DeMeco had a magic wand, he'd wave it magic wand and they'd run a Kubiak or Shanahan style of offense.
Oh yeah, when he talks about that, we talk about glowing. Anytime he gets a chance to talk about that, it's there, and he's talked unsolicited about the motion that Mike McDaniel runs and all that type of stuff. But
yeah, I mean the way he talked about McDaniel ahead of their game last year was about as nice publicly as he's talked about any opposing offensive mind. Obviously, they worked together in San Francisco. It's your only shot at Mike McDaniel if you want Mike McDaniel, DeMeco.
It's your only shot. You only got one shot.
Now, my thing would be like, okay, could you get an agreement from Mike McDaniel that he's here for 2 years no matter what?
No, you can't. You can't make a coach do that.
But if you're DeMeco talking to Mike McDaniel, can you be like, hey, man, are you going to be here 2 years?
Oh, yeah. I don't know that he's like right back to who knows. But yeah, I don't think Nick Caley's going anywhere. I think you agree with that.
Now, if Mike McDaniel sits out a year, hot seat Nick Caley all next year.
Yeah, that's when it would get real interesting.
If Mike McDaniel does not take a job, hot seat Nick Caley all next year.
There we go. All right. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. We hope to see you at Spanky's tomorrow, Sharpstown. John McClain will be out there. Again, thanks to TDECU for sponsoring our playoff coverage, the official credit union of C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans, tdcu.org/Texans. Membership required, insured by NCUA. Is there any more apologies you want to lay out for trying to steal that full sauce?
I'm not apologizing for that. It wasn't full.
Okay. There we go. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Sticky Finger Stoots.